My ex-wife sobbed. He's a violent monster, and filed a restraining order. I said nothing, just handed the judge a sealed envelope. His hands shook as he read it. "Bailiff, arrest her," he ordered. "Ma'am, do you even know who your ex-husband really is?" Chapter 1. The Accusation. The first I heard about it wasn't from her. It was from a sheriff's deputy knocking on my door at 6:32 a.m. "Are you full name?" "Yes, you've been served." He handed me a thick envelope, emergency protective order, filed by Ashley Reed, my ex-wife. She claimed I had threatened her life, said I showed up outside her work, stalked her apartment, sent threatening emails. She even claimed I tried to break into her car. All lies, every single word. And the moment I saw the judge's signature granting a temporary restraining order, I knew she had played this card to the fullest for leverage. This wasn't about fear, it was about control. She wanted me out of the picture legally, financially, emotionally, and now she had the courts behind her. But I didn't panic. I didn't call her. I didn't argue. I just smiled and walked to the safe behind my bookshelf. Inside was one sealed envelope, one I had kept for 3 years. Chapter 2. The Courtroom Trap. 2 weeks later, the courthouse hallway was buzzing. People waiting for their divorce hearings, custody battles, and protective order cases. But everyone turned when Ashley walked in. Tight black dress, oversized sunglasses, a dramatic neck brace she absolutely didn't need. Her lawyer, a smug little man in a too-tight suit, strutted beside her like they already won, like this was a performance. And me, I sat calmly. No lawyer, no fanfare, just one item in my hands, that sealed envelope. Inside the courtroom, the judge glanced over the papers and looked at me. "Mr. Callahan, your ex-wife alleges you violated her safety and posed a credible threat. Do you wish to respond?" Ashley sniffled loudly. Her lawyer leaned in. "Your Honor, my client has clear photographic evidence, eyewitness accounts, and a copy of threatening emails allegedly sent from Mr. Callahan's IP address. This is a textbook case of escalation from an emotionally unstable ex-husband. He showed up to my yoga studio," Ashley added, sobbing. I was terrified for my life. I didn't speak. I just stood, walked up to the bench, and handed the judge the sealed envelope. He raised an eyebrow. "What is this documentation?" I said calmly. "Of who I really am and who she really is." He opened the envelope. Silence. He read, then reread. His eyes narrowed, then widened. He motioned to the bailiff. "Clear the courtroom," he said sharply. "Now!" Ashley blinked. "Wait, what's happening? You can't just, ma'am." The judge cut her off. "You may want to remain silent for your own sake." Her lawyer looked confused, then scared. "Bailiff," the judge said firmly. "Detain Miss Ashley Reed. We will be contacting federal authorities. She is under suspicion of felony perjury, document tampering, and obstruction of justice." Ashley's face collapsed. "What? No. He's the monster. He. The judge cut her off again, holding up a photo from the envelope. "Do you even know who your ex-husband really is?" Chapter 3. The Man She Never Really Knew. When Ashley screamed, "What's in that envelope?" I didn't flinch. The courtroom was cleared. The bailiff cuffed her. Her lawyer turned pale, muttering about needing a recess. The judge turned back to me, now calm, but clearly shaken. "Mr. Callahan, would you please explain this intelligence report?" I gave a small nod. "I wasn't just some boring logistics officer in the Army, Your Honor. That was the cover." He looked back at the classified letterhead. "Your real name is Liam Archer," I replied. "Senior field operative for the Department of Defense Counterintelligence Division embedded in Eastern Europe. Code clearance, Eclipse." Black Ashley blinked from across the room. "What are you talking about?" "He's lying. He's just some loser." The judge slammed his gavel. "Silence, Ms. Reed, or I'll hold you in contempt." She froze because this wasn't a game anymore. The report I gave the judge, it was 43 pages long. Each detail meticulously collected and logged over the last 6 months. Encrypted messages between Ashley and a man named Marcus Vaughn, a wanted cybercriminal I'd been tracking for over a year. Ashley funneling small sums from our joint account into offshore crypto wallets. Hidden devices I found in our bedroom. Not mine, not hers either. And one photo, The most damning one, Ashley and Marcus's arms in the same cafe where a federal agent was poisoned last year. Surveillance footage, time-stamped, and she was smiling. She was helping him. That's what I told the judge. Maybe not directly, but she knew who he was, and she tried to cover it up. When I started getting close, she panicked and filed the restraining order. She needed to discredit me before I exposed her. "So, you used the divorce to draw her out," the judge said slowly. I nodded, and she walked right into it. Ashley finally spoke. "You were spying on me. This whole marriage. You were some kind of spy." I didn't answer, but the look in her eyes changed. It wasn't rage anymore. It was fear. Chapter 4. A web she never saw. The courthouse was no longer just a venue for a divorce. It had become a stage, and Ashley was the star performer in a drama she never rehearsed for. The Bailiff returned with 2 men in dark suits. No badges on display, but every movement screamed federal authority. They walked straight to the judge, whispered something, and handed him a second envelope. He adjusted his glasses and turned to Ashley. Ms. agreed. "We have confirmation from Homeland Security and Interpol. You've been under surveillance for 6 months. The man you conspired with, Marcus Vaughn, is tied to 6 international fraud rings, and you knowingly facilitated his laundering efforts through your husband's credentials and cleared channels." Ashley's jaw trembled. I didn't know. I thought he was just a crypto guy. He said Liam. He said he was dangerous." I raised a brow. "He also told you I was abusive, which is why you filed for a restraining order with no evidence." She had no reply. The hidden camera. I pulled out a small flash drive and handed it to the court clerk. Exhibit F. I said footage from our guest room, the day she planted a bruise on herself with makeup, then rehearsed a crying act for her sister. The screen lit up. Gasps echoed across the courtroom. Ashley had never looked so small. The real reason I stayed quiet. "Why didn't you report her earlier?" the judge asked me. I took a breath. "Because she's not the only one. She was part of something bigger. I needed her to feel safe. I needed her to believe she was winning until we had enough to bring down the entire network, which we now do." One agent added, "Thanks to Mr. for Archer's cooperation." Her whole circle unravels as agents led Ashley away. Another officer approached me. "We've also detained her sister and her friend Tara. Both received wire transfers from Vaughn and helped launder small sums through retail shell companies." "What about Vaughn?" I asked. "Interpol's making the arrest right now in Prague." I nodded. It was done. Ashley turned to me one last time. Her eyes didn't beg. They didn't accuse. They just asked one silent question. "Who were you really all this time?" And I gave her the truth. The man who protected you, even when you didn't deserve it. Chapter 5. The final verdict. The courtroom wasn't silent anymore. Whispers filled every corner. Lawyers, officers, even court staff trying to piece together what had just happened. A woman who came in claiming abuse was now in handcuffs, and the quiet man she tried to destroy had flipped the world upside down with a single sealed envelope. The judge stood in light of the overwhelming evidence. "The restraining order is revoked. Mr. Archer, you are fully exonerated of all accusations." He paused, then looked directly at me. "And I've never said this in my courtroom, but thank you for your service." I didn't nod. I didn't smile. I just looked at Ashley one last time as she was led away in cuffs, her sobs echoing behind her. Not from pain, from the realization that she had played herself. Stepping away from the life that evening, I drove back to the safe house, a quiet little property I'd bought under an alias years ago. Knowing one day I might need to disappear, I called my handler at the agency. "It's done." I said Ashley's part of the network is exposed. Marcus Vaughn's arrested. Her family's under investigation. He replied, "Then your clearance expires at midnight. You're a civilian now, Liam. That's the plan." Her final surprise. 3 weeks later, I got a letter. Not an email, not a call. An actual handwritten letter from Ashley. The writing was messy, desperate. "I didn't know who you really were. Not just your job, but the kind of man you are. If I had known, maybe I wouldn't have ruined everything." She signed it. "I'm sorry. You didn't deserve what I became." I folded it once, set it on the fire pit, lit a match. Some memories deserve flames, not forgiveness. The quiet new life now. I teach self-defense workshops for veterans, volunteer at shelters for abuse victims. I live near a lake. No cameras, no files, no mission folders, just peace. Sometimes I wonder if Ashley thinks of me. If she lies awake at night, wondering how close she came to keeping everything, and how her own greed turned the tide. But I don't dwell because I've already moved on. Epilogue, the envelope's twin. 6 months later, a letter arrived at my new address. No return name, just my real name on the front, Liam Archer. I opened it carefully. Old instincts never truly die. Inside was a photograph. Ashley in an orange jumpsuit, handcuffed, eyes hollow, and taped to the back of the photo. Another envelope identical to the one I gave the judge, but unopened. There was a note. She never opened this one. Thought it was a second copy, but this one was just for you. I unfolded the enclosed document, a certificate signed and sealed from a covert ops handler I hadn't spoken to in years. This confirms Ashley Monroe was listed as a Level 3 intelligence risk, surveillance initiated under Order 438A. She was not just a manipulator, she was bait. I stared at the paper. The final twist wasn't about revenge. It was about control. She'd tried to play a spy, but forgot I'd been trained to outplay shadows. Final line, the lesson. Some people ruin lives for attention. Others ruin their own lives by choosing the wrong opponent. And when your past wears combat boots and speaks 10 languages, you don't start a war with him. You walk away if he lets you. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Or should the storm have raged harder? Drop your verdict below. I read every single one. Hit like if you crave justice. And share this story with someone who needs its fire. Subscribe to Walter's Story, because here, betrayals don't sleep. They hunt their owners. Every shadow hides a reckoning. Every mask breaks. And every betrayal is answered. Stay sharp. Stay unbroken. Stay tuned.